We are officially live, so let's go ahead and do the thing. Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. It's just past 2 o'clock on a Thursday. You know what that means? It's time for a Butcher's Market OG Live. Get hyped, Joe. Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. You can check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. Catering, maybe you have a New Year's plan. Call them right now. Maybe you're invited to a holiday party and you don't have time to cook something up. No worries. Just go to the Butcher's Market. They can take care of you.
Maybe you're a loyal listener like Jeannie. And she said, I am going to the Butcher's Market today to get the hot dogs because I know you guys know food. Thank you.
Look at us.
Finally.
Do we not look like people who know food?
For things that we know. Yes. Golf shirts, hoodies, and food. Yes.
So I was online.
That's probably a mistake.
Probably a mistake. But I was just kind of going over some, like, what else can we talk about today? Kind of a situation, right? And this gets put into my timeline. Shout out to one of our listeners, Connor, who showed us the Fox 1 p.m. window map from 506 Sports. And he circled for us, if you're watching on YouTube. I know the podcast comes out later, so shout out to the live audience. You're watching on YouTube. And you see a bunch of red. That red highlights Philadelphia versus Washington. Joe Davis and Greg Olson on the call. We're all big fans of Greg Olson. But when you zoom in enhance, you're noticing that Greensboro and the Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill metro markets are in that red. Well, somebody else is playing at 1 o'clock at Bank of America Stadium. The Carolina Panthers are playing the Arizona Cardinals in their home finale. And that little orange that you see, which covers most of the Charlotte market, the Greenville, South Carolina market, Columbia, Myrtle Beach, and Charleston, well, guess what? You're getting the Panthers, but we are not. And this has sent some people into outer space. I double-checked to make sure that this wasn't some sort of typo, that maybe there's another way to watch the game. Maybe locally, my former employer was going to pull the lever and put the Panthers-Cardinals game on. And sure enough, no, that's actually not what is happening. I pulled up my Hulu, and sure enough, what do I see at 1 o'clock on Sunday? The Eagles versus the Commanders. Joe, we have hit a point where the Panthers are so terrible after a run of being bad that not even the local affiliate wants to fight this. Fine. I'm just playing the guessing game here. They're probably looking at this going, Eagles and Commanders here in the triangle with all the transplants? Yeah, man, that's probably a better ratings grab than running the Panthers right now. There's no point.
This only works because we're not the primary market.
Yeah, if you look at the map, you'll see the Arizona areas as well are covered in orange. So this really is a supremely locals-only game.
Fox is only showing it in the primary markets that they're required to show it in.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. And again, I'm not a TV expert. I only pretend to be one here on the podcast. With these affiliates, you're supposed to take the 1 o'clock game. Now, are there compromises? Yeah, there's always compromises. You can work some things out. My understanding is that this has happened before with the Carolina Panthers. My understanding is that it actually happened earlier this year.
Okay.
But the Panthers were still put on our area, the triangle area, on television. Now, why they're not doing it this particular time, I don't know if they've run out of freebies. You know, like, hey, man, you already pulled that lever once. Again, I do not know. I can only speculate. But what I do know is that they're not fighting it. All right. They're already running promos. This game's going to be on at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And if I had to guess, because what television stations ultimately care about and what I read this as, both locally and nationally, the Panthers, specifically the Panthers and the Cardinals, but specifically the Panthers, are such a bad ratings draw that why would you fight it at this point? Because at the end of the day, ratings are what matter. And that's what appeases the advertisers. That's what helps set your rates. Fox is looking at this going, man, the Eagles are running hot. This is an NFC East divisional rival. The Commanders are, always drawing eyeballs because the fans can't quit them. even though they've had their ups and downs this year. I know I was on the Commanders bandwagon earlier this year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's going to be a ratings draw at 1 o'clock.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know if you know the answer to this or not. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's what the question's for.
Mm-hmm.
In baseball, if we were trying to watch the team in our market, which is black, let's just say we were in a normal market.
Dude, when you're into getting a baseball,
I know, but let's just say we're in a normal market. If you were locked out of it locally, you wouldn't be able to watch it on Sunday, the baseball equivalent of Sunday Ticket.
You should be able to watch this on Red Zone.
So my question is, since it's not local, and on my YouTube ticket, I get all of the games that are not local. They're not going to take an extra step and black this out on that, are they?
If I had to guess, you should be able to watch this on Sunday
the ticket.
Ticket.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
Okay.
You will be able to do that. If I had to guess.
If I needed to. Like if I was down bad and had Chuba Hubbard's rushing,
Joe,
just hypothetically.
If you were that down bad, may I introduce you to StubHub? Why don't you just go to StubHub right now? Section 536. This is considered an amazing deal. It's the cheapest ticket. It's $15 right now. Now with fees, that's a $30 ticket.
Right.
And I just experienced this going to a Hurricanes game this past Sunday where I was super, super hype about getting upper level seats for $20 a piece.
No, sir.
No, sir. Those were actually $35 tickets.
That's not terrible.
Because of the fee. No, even still, it was cheaper than getting on Ticketmaster. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, these are technically $30 seats when you look at the fees attached to it. But look, dude, you could sit lower level for $135 near the 50-yard line on the visitor side if you want to. Now, why is this game so poorly attended? Well, the Panthers stink. Apparently, it's also going to be super, super cold this weekend to the point where Kyler Murray doesn't even want to play in this temperature. Kyler, I played in cold weather before. How cold is it supposed to be? Reporter, 35.
No, I mean, I've played in cold weather before. It's not, I don't know how cold it's supposed to be. 35. Yeah. Shit.
Play in a dome, Joe. Play in a dome. That's what you always like to do, right?
Control that environment.
Control the environment.
Please.
This is from Zach. Are they ready for complaints? Maybe. Like, I'm sure there would be some complaints, but are there going to be enough complaints that it's going to override the ratings poll of Eagles versus Commanders? Nah. They'll deal with the complaints. From John, Panthers, truly a butchered market. There's your new ad read. Oh man, so good. But anyway, there's your situation with the Panthers. They're so down bad that they're not going to be on locally here in the Triangle or in Greensboro. So
it's kind of hard to believe because they've been worse. Like you're saying, they're bad, they're terrible. Record wise, yeah. I mean, they've been more competitive. I mean, the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season was just an absolute train wreck.
I think it's an accumulation of things. I think over the last 5 years, they've been in this downward trajectory. And look, how many times have we used the decade that we don't talk about with the Carolina Hurricanes and applied it to what's going on with the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah.
Where after a while, there is a point at which it truly sets in with apathy. And while the Panthers, true ball knowers, if you will, if you're a ball knower,
the highest rated quarterback on third down, in third quarters, on the road, in day games, in the 1 o'clock window.
So if you're a ball knower like Joe Giglio over there, you'll know that the Panthers actually were giving you something that was somewhat entertaining the last couple of weeks, right? They competed against the Chiefs, although the Chiefs are going to be the ratings draw. So of course you want to have the Chiefs. They had the Eagles, right? Again, another ratings draw, and they played them competitively. You had the divisional game against the Buccaneers, again, another competitive game in which they came up short. Clean up those mistakes, and you used your rec league analogy. And the Carolina Panthers were basically a rec league team that poured it out against the teams that they know are good. And when they saw a similar team or a team that might be in a worse position than them, well, they thought they could just cakewalk it and walk out with a win. And I think that the way the Dallas game played out, it was such a debacle this past Sunday that the true checkout occurred. And this is now the home finale, and really nobody cares. I mean, just look at the ticket prices. And as Davis points out in the YouTube comment section, Panthers aren't good enough to be triangle good. So there you go. And trust me, we know some mediocre football in the triangle.
Did you show people the coasters yet?
Yeah. My guy Kev. His kid has a 3D printing thing, and he printed out some triangle good coasters. That's fantastic.
So good.
That is so good.
That's a play on the shirt that you bought.
Yeah.
From 83.
From 83, yes.
All right. Hugging and yeah.
So we have that with the NFL. So be it. But you know what this weekend's really about.
I do.
This weekend's all about the college football playoff, Joe. Are you ready? Are you ready to figure out where these games are? Do you know where the games on Saturday are being aired?
I do. Because I wrote it down.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
No, I'm ready for Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame crowd to somehow, some way duplicate that noise that Notre Dame had to fight at Wallace Wade Stadium last year.
You sent this to me. I guess this came from a Duke football Twitter account, and it's Marcus Freeman name dropping Duke as being an environment where the crowd made things difficult for them.
Is something that humbles you. You're grateful to be a part of it. I've challenged our crowd to truly impact the game. As a quarterback, I know as being a head coach, like the crowd can truly impact a game. It can impact an offense in terms of, trying to make them go on a different cadence, have to go on silent count. It impacted us in a negative way. I think last year at Duke, we had 4 or 5 false starts, and even this year at Texas A&M.
Mike Elko just knows how to get at Notre Dame in terms of crowd noise.
I'm sorry. Did someone with a straight face just compare the crowds at Wally Wade to Texas A&M, to Kyle Field, where there are 112,000 people?
I give Marcus Freeman a lot of credit.
Face.
I give Marcus Freeman a lot of credit. He's been watching a lot of old Lou Holtz Notre Dame coach tape, because Lou Holtz was always the master of telling you what it was that scared him about this. To borrow a phrase from Doug Gottlieb, who we'll talk about later, they were playing Nobody You. But I can't do the Lou Holtz, because I'll tell you what, they've got this one back who's really going to surprise you, or that crowd's going to be feisty. So good for Marcus Freeman channeling his inner Lou Holtz on that one, showing toughness.
Great stat about this Notre Dame game, which is a home game.
Yes,
right?
It is.
For all the people out there like, why'd they give the 4 champions a bye? This was all rigged up to make sure that Notre Dame couldn't be in the top 4. Like, we'll show you, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a top 4 seed. Like, come on. Of course, they were going to get the 5th seed and wherever they ended up getting in the home game.
Of course.
And now this is the first Notre Dame home game since the last game of 1990 that is not being telecast by NBC. Do you know the opponent in 1991 when the NBC contract kicked off?
I do not.
The same opponent who they'll play on Friday night at Notre Dame Stadium under Touchdown Jesus. It's watchful eye. It is the Indiana Hoosiers. Back in 1991, they started the NBC contract. This is now the first game on ABC, 8:00 Friday night. It's going to be cold. They could keep showing you the snow. I'm sure Riley Leonard, sure he's been forged in the steel of Josh Allen's ball sweat and whatever else you need to play and freeze your dick off when you play in the snow. I'm sure Riley Leonard's all up to par with all of that. Yeah.
Riley Leonard wrote something on the Players Tribune last night or today that was something about like a letter to my Notre Dame family. And I feel like I was channeling my inner Dave Clawson.
Your family.
Right. Where, Clawson, who recently stepped down at Wake Forest, and the old Washington State coach is now going to be, Dickerson, right? Dickert? I think it's Dick. Regardless, he's going to be the coach of Wake Forest. That's neither here nor there. I think his press conference is today, or it was today, or whatever it is. Sorry. It's the holidays. My brain is fried. I don't even know what freaking day it is, but that's neither here nor there. Part of the reason why my brain is fried is much like Dave Clawson was upset, and his brain was broken after Sam Hartman was at Wake Forest for 5 years, and then had his COVID year going to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was treating it as like a farewell to our favored son, Sam Hartman. I'm paraphrasing here, but Dave Clawson's attitude was, man, you date to marry, You rented him. Like, what are we talking about? And now the same thing with Riley Leonard, a guy who told us we never had to say no twice.
Nope, never. They asked, but never twice.
And now it's like a letter to my Notre Dame family. Okay.
Fairhope, Alabama, forged in the fires.
I tell you what, we made fun of Caleb Love a lot for Tar Heel for life, but you know what? Maybe he was onto something.
Yeah.
Maybe he
recognizes where he was the longest.
All right. So you ride Notre Dame or not?
Listen, Notre Dame and Indiana have very similar resumes. I do think Notre Dame has a better offensive line and defensive line. It's going to be very cold. As much as I want to take Indiana and as much as I want to sign off on Cignetti, I just can't. I think Notre Dame wins this game. I'll say this, though. I will say that the lines for all 4 of these games this weekend are atrocious.
Yeah, we'll get into the DraftKings here in a second.
But we've had a really weird college football season, right? And we've compared this first playoff a lot to the NCAA tournament. And man, there are years. The first Final Four I ever went to was the chalkiest Final Four in history. 2008, you had all 4 number 1 seeds advance to the Final Four. And everyone after that was like, man, this is going to happen again. This will happen all the time. And we go into years all the time. 2 years ago, I picked all of the SEC favorites to go to the Final Four. None of them showed up. I feel like in a year where we really don't have a clue what's happening, are we really going to get a super chalky tournament in this college football? Like, no. One of these 4 dogs has to outright win, right?
You know it's going to be Clemson that shocks the world, right? Like, Dabo's feeling it right now. He's in his bag. You know it. You know it.
I would love to see that. But I wonder if it's not. I wonder if this is not the Giglio theory of tight butts and lemon booties. You have 2 of these in Penn State playing SMU, where their fans are thoroughly fed up with James Franklin, never beating anybody, and really only beating the teams he's supposed to. Now, SMU squares fully in the category of teams he's supposed to beat.
I had that thought too.
Okay,
in that I was thinking about it today. Wondering, I'm like, yeah, you know what? SMU's had a really good year. They've been in some tight games.
They're very athletic. They run the football. They're not one of these like fancy spread it around teams. Like they're built to win games like this.
And when you expect Penn State to break through, it's going to be their year. Like you say, they don't. There's a lot of NC State in Penn
Giglio, lemon booty, tight butt axiom. Yes,
but I don't think the SMU game is the one
where they feel
that happens to them. I think the most fascinating game is the Ohio State home game.
Correct.
That's also the most fascinating game.
Yeah, the Lenovo Center on steroids. The NC State Carolina basketball game on times 12. I mean, like the second something goes wrong, the instant those fans have already turned on Ryan Day.
Well, they're earlier this week, right? Ryan Day was a semifinalist for some coaching award. I'm being serious.
Oh no, they had to turn the comments off, didn't they? Yeah.
Yes. That's where we are. It's that bad.
Dan Orlovsky, I think, was on with McAfee, and he was talking about how Mike Vrabel already has a job. Mike Vrabel, former Patriots linebacker, former Titans head coach, and of course began his career at the Ohio State. Like, you really think they would?
From Ken, Ohio State playing at home might be the tightest booties the world has ever seen. You can bounce a Buckeye off those bad boys. Boop. That's what's going to happen.
They're going to need to take one of the weed leaps off the helmet. It's the only way, man.
May I introduce our local Ohio State Buckeye fans, the transplants, to our friends, Nature's Relief. That actually might play out for you in your favor. Yeah, look, if we're looking at the bracket, that is the game that I think most people are circling as the game in which it's an SEC opponent, okay?
And not a typical SEC team, by the way, in spite of what NC State saw in Charlotte at the beginning of the year.
Right.
This is a Tennessee team that plays defense. They have an unbelievable defensive front, and they really have turned into a running team. And again, things that travel, as we've seen in football and playoff football. I know I'm using NFL logic here, but things that travel, your defensive front and your running game.
And now I did want to circle back to Penn State and SMU, right? Because I think you and I are on the same page, but here's the wrinkle to the Penn State equation of winning games they know they can win and losing the games that you need, right? You know, like Ohio State
Michigan,
that sort of thing. That's why I say it's very NC State. Well, of course you'll beat these teams, but you always run into Clemson, right? when everybody was freaking out about the brackets and you're looking at the path for these teams, it turns out that that Penn State had the easiest path. This is the bracket luck situation.
Yeah.
So because here's the wrinkle.
Right.
Because Penn State was gifted the theoretical easiest path to the semifinals, does that mean they don't even make it?
Now you're starting to use that gambler's brain.
Aha.
I like it. It's finally broken through. We've finally done it.
Okay, it's finally breaking through on me. Big thanks to our friends at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app because it is the most wonderful time of the year. We got football, as we mentioned. There's hoops, hockey. It's all at DraftKings. And in the season of giving, you will be gifted college football, basketball, pro football, and basketball, pro hockey, almost 24/7. And the gift to you from DraftKings is when you bet $5. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Now, I feel like, Joe, for new customers out there that are going to use that promo code OG24, you probably have it in your brain, what's the easiest thing to put the $5 gang on, right?
I do, or you do?
You do. You seem to have this figured out. You feel very confident.
Well, you know what? Let's just parlay all 4 dogs. Let's take the points in all 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Okay.
I mean, it's 7 for Indiana, 8.5 for SMU, 12 for Clemp, 7.5 for Tennessee. Let's put them all together.
All right, I like that parlay. These are things you can do. By the way,
you don't have to win. You just gotta cover.
You just gotta cover. Those are the things that you can do at DraftKings. You can put all sorts of parlays together. You're looking for first touchdown. You're looking for first quarters. You are looking for the live line. All that kind of stuff. It's all available to you on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code OG24. Again, that's code OG24 for new customers. You get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. So happy holidays from our friends at DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Housekeeping. And housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. You can check them out online at enovana.com. Green cleaning solution.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
We have a holiday schedule that we're going to attempt next week. So Monday, we're going to have a OG mailbag review. I don't know, man.
What, we're going to attempt?
We're going to attempt this. We this is only the second year we do like a year in review. We're trying to mix it up. We're going to attempt it. See how it works out, right?
Okay.
See how it works out. So Monday, we will have an OG mailbag. Call us. Call the sports phone. 919-444-2211.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Like we've said, we've got our moments of 2024, but I'm curious to hear your moments of 2024. They might be your favorite Giglio moments of 2024. Who could forget the Elite Eight Rialto? Who could forget Giglio at Nature's Relief on 10 milligrams?
It was 50 millis. Come on.
Nah, but they broke it up into small things. It wasn't 50 in one shot. It was 50 they broke up into little cups, and you technically
Still
had 5.
50 milli strength.
All right, I'm just saying. So if you got any of that stuff, call the sports phone, or you can just email us at theoggoesdigital@gmail.com. And then on Wednesday, Christmas Day, something that Joe is very, very adamant about, we want you to open up your presents with the podcast playing in the background on YouTube.
Perfect.
Who says no?
Perfect.
And we'll do our official OG year in review.
Since I really don't like arguing with you, but I really should on this one. If this is 100 proof, this alcohol, and you serve me just a smidge of it, does it become 10 proof?
Oh, stop it.
No, the 50 milli drink is still 50 milli.
It's not 50 milligrams in the serving, though. It's the total that's in the thing.
There's
It's
a
not
difference
alcohol.
between proof and millis. Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, like
Okay.
for instance, I've gone to Nature's Relief. Heck, we might as well just do the Nature's Relief spot right here while we're talking about it. You go to Nature's Relief, they're going to hand you a bag of gummies.
Right.
Okay, well, not going to hand you one. You're going to buy a bag of gummies.
Correct. Yes.
Doesn't work that way.
Still commerce.
Exactly. You give them money, they give you gummies. That's how it works. America. So you get a bag of gummies, and it'll tell you the total amount of milligrams that's in the bag.
The bag. Okay.
And then
Yes.
from there, you start doing the math. So if you get a gummy gem that is 50 milligrams, well, you can then cut them up into quarters to dial it back
Okay.
down, right?
Okay.
So that's how that works. In fact, if you look at some of the gummies, they even have little perforated areas. So you can break the gummies up so that you're not just taking, 50 milligrams of THCA that would knock you on your ass.
Not a good idea.
Not a good. Now,
Gotta
for
know
some,
your limits.
now, for some people, that's nothing.
Oh, they can handle it.
And not me,
Right.
and not you.
No.
Certainly not you.
Phew.
Certainly not you.
No.
Go to naturesreliefhempstore.com. They can explain this a hell of a lot better than we can. Again, that's naturesreliefhempstore.com. Go to breakingtea.com/OG. You can check out the OG shirts. You're not going to find this one, though. You're not going to find this one. This shirt that Joe got me for Christmas. Just need a little Canes hockey and a whole lot of Jesus.
There's so
And
much
milligrams.
good. There's so much good to the font, to the
There's just a lot going on here, man.
pictures.
There's just a lot going on here. I love this shirt.
the
It's an extra.
the Scarface cross. Like half of it is cross, half of it's the
Look,
text.
all I'm saying is that when the Canes win the cup, this is the reason why.
So we get the shirt at a thrift store.
Yeah, shout out to Brendan.
If there's any way possible that the person who made this shirt is a listener,
Yeah.
Giglio.joe@gmail.com. We have a present for you.
That was something that I did jot down. I need the story behind this shirt because this is a relatively new shirt
Yes.
based on the people that are on it.
correct.
I mean, this is up. This was like up to date as of last year's roster, was it not?
Yes.
So, because I'm pretty sure Pesci's on here, right?
Yep. Chatfield too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, so there you go. So it's a fairly new shirt that was at a thrift store. And I really want to know where this shirt came from that says, all I need in life is a little bit of Canes and a whole lot of Jesus. What was this for?
And also, did they give up? Like, have they given up? Is that why they no longer have the shirt?
I don't know.
I have a lot of questions about it.
Seriously. So if you were if you were the person behind this shirt, or you know the person who came up with these shirts, please put us in contact.
Oh, you don't
because
think
we
it's a
have so
one of
many-
one? You think there's
No.
more out there?
There's got to be more out there. There's got to be more out there.
That would make more sense than someone giving up, right?
Like, was it a church group that went to a game? And this was this was like the Etsy design they did.
I like that thought.
I mean, that might be what it is. And then it just ended up in the thrift store because that person's like, man, I don't believe in this crap.
They lost. And it was
Right.
I gotta get rid of this shirt.
No,
This is the Lord telling me I
No.
have to get rid of the shirt.
but maybe that was just the Lord giving you his hardest battles, and you
Yeah.
had to power through.
Well, you know,
Don't give up so easily.
no, you can't.
So anyway, breakingtea.com/OG. Go buy one of our shirts, and they're going to throw in a mystery shirt. Speaking of Christmas, I have two gifts for you. One I could not wrap,
Okay.
but there's a theme to these. There's a theme to these. So this is
a
number
mouse pad.
This is number one. This is number one. That is a Fireball whiskey bar mat.
It's not Rumpelmans.
No,
but
it's not. But I know you have an affinity for the Fireball.
Oh boy.
And then here's the thing. I couldn't wrap this. Kelly wrapped it.
I couldn't put it on the wall. I wish I could.
You could put that on the wall. All you need is a nail. Put some nails on that thing.
Oh man, that's so good. That is so good.
So there is a theme to there is a theme to these two things. It kind of ties in 2024.
Fireball.
And Fireball. And then this is a
Old World Christmas.
Yeah, old world Christmas. It's kind of wrapped up. From Ken, I need that bar mat to go with my Fireball candy cane of bad decisions. Yeah, a lot of bad decisions are made with the Fireball. But this will have a special spot on the Giglio family Christmas tree.
The champagne of beers.
It is a Miller High Life long neck Christmas ornament.
Now, it's not a shorty, so
It's not
it
a
does
shorty.
count.
It does count because it's Christmas. It's supposed to count for Christmas.
But it is glorious.
So now, why these two things? Because those are the things that you got most drunk with during the year of the wolf, Joe. Who can forget?
Oh, God.
Who can forget the Elite Eight on the High Life. Who can forget you doing fireball shots at
The Final Four.
the Final Four? So this is to kind of bring it home to roost with the fireball and the Miller High Life.
Very thoughtful.
So
Thank
there
you,
you
sir.
go. There you go. Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. All right. So where were we? Yes.
ASMR or
Yeah, that's fine. You can throw that in there. We did the natures. Yes. Our friend, this is live. For real.
not to tape.
Not to tape. I'm not editing anything today.
It's
I don't
very
have
freeing for you.
I don't have time to edit, honestly. That's why. Big thanks to our,
we just have to let it ride some, man.
No. I got a lot to do. Big thanks to our friends at Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. This weather is throwing everybody off, man. Is it warm? Is it cold? The birds are chirping. Are the mosquitoes going to come out all of a sudden? It was 70 degrees on Monday. Now it's 50 degrees. I'm so confused. But don't be confused by the amount of money you can save by bundling and saving with our friends at bugsbite.com. Get Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority.
I told you the story from the opener. Speaking now that the fireball is breathing memories back into me here.
Yeah.
So at the opener, I see a former player and he goes, "Hey man, haven't seen you in a minute." I go, I know. I said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a minute." He goes, "Yeah, I saw you at the Final Four." And I was like, "We did?" and you know me, I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, "Oh my God, I have no memory of that." Not a single memory of it. So you know what? The Year of the Wolf.
Year of the Wolf, all tied together. Speaking of the Year of the Wolf, we could not have done a lot of the Year of the Wolf stuff without our friends at Breeze Through.
Right.
So check out breezethrough.com. We could not have done the podcast festival this year without our friends at Breeze Through. So go support them the way they've supported us. Go to breezethrough.com. And of course, our friends at Rowback. Giglio's rocking the Rowback right now. Shout out to everybody who paid attention of when it was time to get on that Rowback. Next time we do something like this, pay super close attention, okay? Because there could be another drop. In the meantime, you can go to rowback.com right now, use that promo code OG20, and you can save 20% off your order.
And if I'm reading correctly from my emails, you could still get Santa can still deliver your Rowback in time for Christmas if you go to the website today. So OG20, it's RHO back, rowback.com. You don't know me like that.
All right, Joe. I've jotted down a question. Who is more down bad this week? Is it North Carolina basketball fans or is it Doug Gottlieb specifically? And there's a relationship there between Doug Gottlieb and Carolina basketball fans, if you remember correctly. I mean, Roy did tell a story one time about putting his shorts on backwards and the chant that happened with it. And this was all because of Gottlieb talking about Hubert Davis potentially being the next coach at North Carolina, which he ultimately was right about. He was right about. So there is that connection there between Hubert Davis and Carolina fans. But I saw something when I logged on to the old Bird site that threw me off. And I was a little disgusted, if we're being honest. And that was our friend Theo Pinson, who's not really our friend. We're more like online friends. He provides content for us on his podcast. Sometimes he tweets through it, right? And there was
there's no Year of the Wolf without Theo Pinson. So
you're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. He calls him NC Stank. He loves calling him NC Stank, right? So anyway, and Theo, hey man, we are big fans. So by all means, if you want to jump on with us, reach out, man. We're my DMs are open, dude. Regardless, so I don't have it in front of me, but it was essentially a screen grab of all the close games that Carolina has played this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, close loss against Florida, close loss against Kansas, close loss. We'll see what happens against UCLA, right? And some people were mad about it. Some people were like trying to look at it optimistically. Some people were like, Hubert's got things to fix, whatever. And Theo retweeted one of these situations, and we went into the and you all want Hubert gone or whatever it is, using these close games as an example of, no, this is progress. And I thought to myself, damn. Has the standard dropped in Chapel Hill that we're looking at these moral victories? Has the standard dropped that your NC State-like attitude about Carolina basketball is now starting to permeate within the program That, hey, they were a number 1 seed last year. Hey, they went to the Final Four 2 years ago.
Facts.
Hey. Kevin Keats can say, don't I have another 37 years to win another ACC championship?
Yes.
Kevin Keats can say that at NC State because it has been 37 freaking years. But at Carolina, that's not the same thing. And I am kind of picking up on the fact that we are going into potentially a civil war of sorts with Carolina basketball fans in particular about the direction of the program.
I think it's already there.
You think it's already there?
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it this way, right? Most of the former players who lobbied and pushed for Hubert Davis to be the head coach are black.
Yeah.
Most of your everyday garden variety fans are white and don't want the black coach.
It's not that simple. Actually, I take that back. It probably is that simple.
There's part of it. It's not all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, you just said number 1 seed last year. They won the regular season last year. 2 years ago, they made the final. Not only did they make the final, they have 2 unbelievable wins over Duke to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On its surface, that resume is someone who also a first-time coach, by the way, also trying to navigate through a changing era of college basketball. And also now in the subtext of your athletic department has devoted a significant portion of its resources to football. Meanwhile, you're losing recruits to BYU.
Yeah.
In part because of financial reasons. Like,
is it a financial reason though?
Read what our friend Matt Norlander wrote today.
I know Matt Norlander.
Read what he wrote today.
Matt, we talked to Matt yesterday, and he said that piece was going to get published. I have not had a chance to read it entirely.
It's very good. I read a lot of it. He does an excellent job of laying out kind of how some of that unfolded with the recruit who's going to BYU.
So,
but that's the new normal.
Yes.
In college sports. And so while you are correct in saying to me that North Carolina has its own standard, North Carolina the way that it views college basketball is different. And I get that. But that does not factor in all of the changes that have happened in college basketball since Hubert Davis replaced Roy Williams. I just have to think there is some grace and understanding in that. I mean,
well,
there
here's the
has
question,
to be, right?
Here's the question I would have to ask you. Do you think that the coaching staff, and it's not just Hubert Davis, it's the entirety of the coaching staff, do you think that there is a stubbornness in the same way that Roy Williams was stubborn in how he wanted to build a basketball team that is permeating through the inability to go do what you have to do to modernize? Do you think it's...
I don't know if it's a stubbornness. Personally, I didn't love the marriage to Baycott, Davis, and Love. Given the year-to-year changes in college basketball, I think I would have reset. I definitely would have reset after 23. So last year, you're still relying on 2 guys. This year, you're still really relying on 1 guy as your bus driver. Like, if I'm Hubert Davis, I want that hard. I would have taken a hard reset.
Oh, I agree with you.
He never has had a hard reset because the original team was still Roy's team. And then the success was Roy's team. And then the failure were the core of Roy's players. And now still, here we are in year 4. Where he's relying still on that same core. And it's just kind of like...
I made the argument when they missed the tournament in 2023. I was with you. Reset the whole thing.
Yeah.
You don't bring back... The only one they didn't bring back was Caleb Love. You ended up getting the Armando Baycott, RJ Davis thing.
Yeah. Last year. Yeah.
But it ended up working out. As much as I wanted a hard reset for Carolina, it actually ended up working out. I mean, they were a number 1 seed, for heaven's sake, and they beat Duke.
Yes, they did. Twice.
I mean, they ended up losing to NC State in the ACC tournament, but it doesn't matter. They were a number 1 seed when it was all said and done. So,
I mean, it matters.
I mean, it does matter. It does matter, right? And they got bounced. But I do think you actually, hit the nail on the head earlier this week with the existential conversation around North Carolina and what exactly do you want to be as a program? And what I would argue about Duke in the decision that they made, whether or not John Shire was the first choice that Mike Krzyzewski had to replace him, once they decided this is the direction we're going to go in, you've noticed that Duke is playing the game of modern college basketball. Whether that will succeed or not remains to be seen. We don't know how it's going to play out with Cooper Flagg this week. But they have Cooper Flag. Knowing what we know about Carolina, and you know this better than I do because you actually have been around it as a beat rather than, I just, swoop in when I swoop in. Here's my question to you. Do you think that Carolina would have been conducive to having a Cooper Flag situation at UNC where he's got his own shoe deal, he's got his own PR, he's got his own people, right? Do you think they would have played that game?
I do. Yeah.
I don't know if they would have.
Now, we're talking about the BYU recruit and the money he's getting. Cooper Flag's getting all that.
I get that.
Yeah.
But you've said it yourself. Like, it's not just the money. It's like, we got the Dunkin' Donuts deal for you too.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's where they've tried.
There's a general manager. There's this relationship. There's this kind of, it's kind of like a, let's put our brands together type thing, which Mike Krzyzewski used to do with the social media aspect. We're going to put the Duke brand and your brand together. It worked for Zion, right?
I'm super curious to see what happens to UConn this year in this sense.
Yeah.
I suspect they make the tournament. They lose either in the first round or the second round. Okay. College basketball is a year-to-year proposition. This is where I'm getting back to the standard. I think you have to adjust what you think of as the standard.
Sure.
Particularly when you don't have a Hall of Fame coach. And particularly when there's no ready-made Hall of Fame coach. Again, if something good can happen to Carolina, it will. Since there's not one of those out there that you can pluck and hire, I think you have to adjust your own standard because that's what college basketball is now. He's had 2 good years as the head coach. He's had 1 bad year. No excuses for 23.
No.
Bad year. This year, I suspect they beat UCLA. They win enough games in the ACC. They go to the tournament. They're not a threat to win the national championship. Okay? There's not a planet where they win the national championship last year. I understand that. And I understand that's your typical standard. But what I'm getting at is, let's look at Miami from 2 years ago. They invested in NIL. They were in the Final Four. Last year, they invested in NIL. Didn't even make the tournament.
Yeah.
NC State kind of sort of invested in NIL last year.
Yeah, but
makes the Final Four. They're on a path this year to not make the tournament.
Yeah.
Like all of this, Kansas beats them in 22. They go and get Hunter Dickinson. They get bounced the next year. Like, and they could end up in the Final Four this year.
Now, here's the thing about
Duke had a down year last year.
There's a difference between, and they still got to the Elite
And
Eight.
they got to what a first world problem.
But that's the thing. I usually would prefer we strip NC State out of these conversations because NC State has nothing to do with the stratosphere in which Carolina operates.
I get that, but what I'm getting at is for everyone in college basketball, there's a push and a pull because. And again, UConn has been the exception. They've won 2 titles in a row. Okay. But what I'm getting, and I'd have to go back to the year before of what Hurley did the year before. Obviously, he didn't win the national title or go to the Final Four.
I was going to say, isn't that the UConn MO though? Either they're going to win this thing or they're not.
Right. But I'm just saying to you, I think it's for everyone. And the problem that North Carolina and Duke and Kentucky, who went out and made big changes, by the way, the problem those blue blood schools are having is not understanding that they're just like everyone else now. They're at the mercy of the whims of college basketball, the same way that everyone else is. I know no one wants to hear this, but having 2 good years out of your first 3 is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's actually really, really good.
But Carolina's been through this before. All right. They went through this with Bill Guthridge, where they went to 2 Final Fours.
Yeah.
And people could see the big picture. Right. People could see the big picture. And I think that's probably where we are with Carolina.
By the way, 4 years of Hurley. Lost in the first round his first year. Lost in the second round his second year. Obviously has won 2 in a row. I get it. I know the difference. I know.
I want to be abundantly clear here. Abundantly clear. I am not advocating anything against Hubert Davis.
Correct.
Okay.
Neither one of us is. We're just trying to recognize that there is a force out there.
Yes.
That is. Yes, the Civil War is the right word to put.
The last couple of years, I have actually sat here with you and we've made arguments about, man, let the cake bake at UNC to see where this thing's going to go. And yet, if we recognize that college basketball is a year-to-year proposition, as Sean points out on the YouTube chats, Hubert is 2 for 3 with a lot of work to do in year 4.
Right.
But here's where year 4 gets tricky. Okay. Here's where year 4 gets tricky. In that, the recruiting matters, the construction of the team matters, and there's also the who are Hubert's guys. Because remember, when we talked about the reset, it was, man, Let's just get rid of the weird amalgamation of Roy guys, Hubert guys, but aren't they all Hubert guys? Because he was on staff. But I think people understand Hubert might want his own way of doing things. So I was ready for that reset. But again, it paid off last year. But now we're starting to see Elliot Cadeau. What's his development? It's been up and down.
He's Hubert's guy. He needs to be better. I thought he would be better this year. He needs to be better.
What is the development of your big men?
They don't have those.
They don't have it.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, again, this gets back into the big existential conversation about UNC, and we're starting to see potentially the cracks in your 4 around Hubert Davis.
Again, it's their
program.
It's their standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Carolina fan, though, and you lose the game against Florida the way that you did because you can't get a rebound, I would absolutely. That would be like you telling me you went to an NC State tailgate and it was a failure.
Right.
But I mean, like, that is such a part of their DNA.
And it wasn't
offensive rebounding and rebounding is their DNA. And so I get that part of it from Carolina fans, but I'm just saying to you now, like, ultimately everyone's in the same pot now in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, including these SEC teams who have all this money. Because again, the regular season is the only college basketball regular season is completely and totally meaningless, except when we have these conversations in November and December where we act like, oh, it matters so much. No, it doesn't matter.
But patterns do start to show. When we were talking to Norlander yesterday, he was like, I'd love to see Carolina splits, right? Well, Chris daggone box scores. Of course, he has splits.
You ask.
He has splits. Chris put this up on social media. Carolina Hoops point differentials by quarter or 10-minute segments through 11 games this season. Minus 25 in the first half, plus 103 in the second half, minus 3 in overtime. The only game in which they did not trail at any point in the first half was that LaSalle game. So I got that one wrong. For some reason, I thought they trailed at one point. But their point differential in the quarter 2, the back half of the first half in Chapel Hill, they were a plus 5 differential. So you see, if you're watching on YouTube, I got the full chart there. And you are seeing they're losing these games ultimately because they have not gotten off to good starts. They put themselves in a hole, they flurry, they fight back, they put themselves in position to try to win. But then the things that you thought you knew about Carolina basketball don't present themselves, like the rebound.
I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to like myself for it.
Do it.
I'm going to ask you. Ask you a question.
Okay.
Against Kansas, Cadeau has the ball at the end of the game. If he makes the shot, is Hubert Davis a better coach because he makes the shot and they beat Kansas?
I know what you're saying, that
RJ Davis has a shot against Florida the last second. If he makes the shot, is Hubert Davis a better coach because the shot goes in? I ask you this in the lens of Kyle Bambart. If he makes a 33-yard field goal against the number 1 team in the country back in 2016, is Dave Doran really that much better of a coach because somebody made a 33-yard chip shot?
No. But what I would push back on, you're right. If he makes the shot, it changes things completely, right? But it doesn't change how their games have followed a very distinct pattern.
Yeah, the Florida game and Kansas game were carbon copies.
So that speaks to a larger issue as to why this team can't come out of the gate.
Do we even make carbon copies anymore?
You can. I think you can. I think that's possible.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Right, this is where are we going here? Where are we going here? And on I got the sports phone here, and here it is. This is from a 919 number.
Hey guys, Chris here. I was listening to the Inside Carolina podcast with Jones and Adam, and their weekly check-in with Coach Davis. And Hubert said something I thought was interesting, that in the first half, they go in with what he called a script, and then he coaches more by feel in the second half. Well, let's look at the stats, right? Where have we struggled? Being UNC. First half, where have they made the biggest comeback? Second half. So should we, being Carolina, abandon those scripts and go with who's hot, not go with who's not, and things of the like? Would love to hear your thoughts. Love the show, guys. Thank you.
This is the age-old football question, right? Anybody can script the first 10 plays, and your team always looks great in those first 10 plays, and then we typically chalk up coaching to what happens after the script. What you're asking and pointing out here is potentially that the script is flawed.
Yeah.
Right. And if your script is flawed, all I can say is you got to keep firing on the script. You can't abandon the script, can you? I remember George Tarantini telling me a story about every time NC State played a home game at Reynolds, they would go back to Jim Valvano's office. This was everybody. This was Bob Guzzo. This was Sam Esposito.
Okay.
This was George. This was Elliot. You name it. They're all in there, and they're talking about Jimmy V would Elliot had to go to Amedio's to go and get the food and bring it back to the office.
Oh, right, right.
And they said this is after a game. This is 9:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And this is when Valvano would start thinking about the next opponent in the league, right? Okay, we're playing Duke. They've got Christian Laettner. How do we defend Danny Ferry? What are we going to do? What can we do? So that's the idea. That's the script. Like, you can't not have a pregame scout. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell Hubert, no, you can't prepare for the game. I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right. Like, hey, man, why are we better, coaching and adjusting than we are with our pre stuff? But unfortunately, I think the pregame scout is just a necessary evil here.
I love State fans always making this about State. Is Keats a better coach because they went to the Final Four last year? At least we suck again this year.
Yes, I know. I'm aware of prevailing thoughts there.
We hear that one plenty.
By the way, hand me the come on.
The triangle
come on.
coaster.
This is 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. I wish I knew the names of the two people. 2 days in a row, we've gotten a call from, hey, I listened to a Carolina podcast on my way home. Then that came to you people. So yeah, if that can happen, we can all get along, people. We can all. What was they hugging for? What does your ridiculous shirt actually say?
We're proud of you. We're proud of you.
I mean, honestly,
because both of them went to
2 days in a row.
Yeah.
2 days in a row.
Yeah. I mean,
no, I shouldn't say triangle good. It's just say we can do this. It's possible.
That's always been my argument. It's people are always like, why would I listen to you? It's like, because we're the place where people come together to talk about these things. We're all in it together. Just like our friends at Longleaf, they're all in it together to provide you some wonderful barbecue and a great bourbon selection, I might add. They get
brisket,
low key. So because like I was hanging out with Adam and Wayne from 919 Vice, and we did our Pappy episode, and we put 23-year-old Pappy in an eggnog milkshake to set the internet on fire. But that's neither here nor there. I was talking about Adam and his bourbon collection, and they had this new Michter's, like an unblended, which was fantastic. And they only came out like 60 days ago. Come to find out, and the allocation's kind of wonky. But our guys at Longleaf got that plug.
Adam's in that lottery life.
He is in that lottery life. So,
he lives it.
So look, man, it is bourbon weather right now. So head on over to Longleaf. They got an incredible bourbon selection, and you'll have a good time. Big thanks to our friends at Home Field. Y'all know me now. I'm about that sweatpant life.
You're living it now.
I am absolutely living the sweatpant life now.
Big
so
converted.
Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use the promo code OG24 to get yourself some more sweatpants like I will be doing after the holidays. Who knows? I might be showing up to record the podcast in sweatpants. Eyes up here. So homefieldapparel.com, use that promo code OG24. Big thanks to our friends at Two Roosters. I might have to go to an XXL in the sweatpants at this rate with the Two Roosters, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to Two Roosters today to drop off some Christmas gifts. My chances of willpower and the raspberry almond cookie are zero. Like I walk in the place, I have all the best intentions, and I'm like, what's one scoop gonna do? How much could it really hurt?
I mean, did I eat a Buc-ee's overbite yesterday when I got back from so this is like, what's one more thing gonna do?
Yeah.
So the Buc-ee's overbite is this gigantic peanut butter cup.
When'd you go to Buc-ee's?
On my way back up from Charleston.
Oh, they're in South Carolina.
Yeah. And the Buc-ee's, much like our milligram conversation, portion size. Who's going to eat a quarter of that thing? You can eat the whole thing in one setting. But, no, it's only 9 grams of fat per serving. No. So you're telling me that's nearly 40 grams of fat in this bad boy. And that's what I did last night on the couch. And that's why I need extra large sweatpants now. And all the money that I save from our friends at State Farm, Matt Davis, I can use that money to buy more sweatpants and more Two Roosters. 919-779-8277, insuregarner.com or the oginsurance.com. Call Matt Davis today. You're going to need to save money after the holidays, and they can save you money on your home and auto real quick. So contact them today. I feel like lightning round has to turn into a Today in Bill Belichick, don't you think?
Please.
Where's my Belichick sounder? Where did it go?
Belichick watch.
Now we're talking. It's getting kind of gross with Bill Belichick, is it not?
In what sense?
Basically, all these people going out of the way to tell you how awesome Bill Belichick is. Like here's Bill Cowher. This was on the CBS set. This will probably get flagged on YouTube. I don't care.
So for a second here, Bill Belichick in college football. Bill, that's an expression, a tie-in that we didn't think was really going to take place.
Well, I think the one thing with Bill Belichick, he's a football coach. He didn't want to sit out another year, and he was not going to get the opportunity and maybe in the NFL, and he had to make a decision on college. And I just think the fact once he made it, he was also out this year. He was in the college scene. His son's coaching out in Washington. He was doing game day. I think he became kind of enthralled into that situation, and I think it'll be good for the game. You talk about what he brings to it. I learned two things from Bill Belichick about humility and respect for the game. And humility and respect are two things I think young college football players are like. It's going to be a pipeline to the NFL. I hope he stays. He stayed. He didn't come to leave. And I wish him nothing but the best, except when they play NC State.
Hey, wait, does that mean Bill Cowher would come back to NC State? Is that what that means, Joe? Is that what that means? By the way, you know how I think Cooper Flagg's about to turn 18 here soon, which means we don't have to hear about how he's only 17.
Thank goodness. I think it's the 21st. Yeah.
Okay. So happy preemptive birthday to Cooper Flagg. Now we can say he's only 18 years old or he just turned 18. If I hear pipeline to the NFL one more fucking time with Bill Belichick, as though no college program has ever had a quote unquote pipeline to the NFL, I am going to smash something.
14 players on that team.
But
that's why he was there.
But not a pipeline to the NFL, Joe.
That's why he was there.
So this is where my head's at. It's going to be a pipeline to the NFL. All right, so we're going to judge Bill Belichick's first season, if he actually coaches his first season, based on the draft then. And if he doesn't have X amount of players, like what do we want to set the first round picks from Carolina at for next year? If it's going to be a pipeline in the NFL, as if Alabama's not pumping out NFL people. The NFL reflects the people they're getting from college. So, yeah, Alabama's pumping out a lot of NFL prospects. LSU's pumping out a lot of NFL prospects. As you said, 14 dudes. Okay? So this business, he's going to have this pipeline in the NFL. All these other college coaches have to be looking at going, then what the hell are we doing?
If only I had thought about that.
Only we had thought about professionalizing college football. If only. A snap, dude. And then the grossness continues. This is from the bowl game last night. Here's Rob Gronkowski with the Cal UNLV game. Who even won that game last night?
Oh, not the Calgorithm.
No, not the Calgorithm.
Their quarterback went into the portal.
Here's Gronkowski.
Before I let you go, I have to ask your longtime NFL coach. He's going to college. Bill Belichick going to the Hoodie, going to Chapel Hill. How do you think he'll do there?
Well, Coach Belichick, he's going to do an awesome job coaching those young bucks at UNC. I love the guy. I'm wishing him nothing but the best, and he's going to make college football that much more suspenseful, that much more fun, and that much more interesting, and I can't wait. The guy's a winner. He's going to eventually be winning games at the University of North Carolina as well, and I'm wishing him nothing but the best. I'll be tuning in just like everybody else.
This is the man who said, "Yo soy fiesta."
Yes.
Look, it's okay. It's okay that you love the guy, but to say that Bill Belichick is going to make college football fun?
No, it's not.
No,
he's not. No. Stop it. No. Stop it. And then I have to find the, where's the one that you sent me? Yes. This was on
the LT.
This is when the one from. Let me go ahead and send this to myself. I thought I had sent it to myself to run here on the StreamYard.
So this is one of his like 78 media rehabilitations. He does the Inside the NFL, which is now on the CW.
Yeah, this is a CW thing. He's sitting with LT, right?
No, LT's
NFL?
on the phone. Is on the StreamYard.
Okay. Here we go.
Greatest defensive player in the history of football. It was an unbelievable honor to coach him for over a decade on defense and on special teams. You could go into Hall of Fame just on special teams, LT. But greatest competitor, and he raised the level of play in our team. The confidence that he brought, we didn't think we could beat Dallas. Lawrence went down there in the first year in 81, 82. It was like, well, I never lost to Dallas. You guys might have, but I didn't. and just his attitude towards competitiveness and helping the team were, phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
It's an absolute honor for you to join us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I just want to say something to Belichick. Hey, Bill, I do have a grandson. Won't you check him out?
Are you ready for a full year of this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah. To get to lightning round. A lot to get to lightning round.
Very nice.
So Pearl Jam's coming to town.
Yes.
Do you think we can get Eddie Vedder in the studio?
I think we can wish this into existence.
Or we're going to have to do the Dave Letterman bit for this.
Yeah. You know what? Do you want to really know how that's done?
Yeah.
Have it done
Do
right?
it for me. Do it for me.
Okay. Eddie?
Huh? Wait a minute. No.
I know someday.
All right, that's enough for YouTube before we get flagged.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Wow. They're playing 2 nights.
I know.
And because of the playoffs, they're not 2 consecutive nights. So Pearl Jam's going to have an off day in Raleigh.
Okay.
So I'm telling you.
So where is Eddie going to be hanging out? That's the question.
I mean, I don't know.
That's the question.
I honestly don't know.
I mean, do you think
is Mookie Blaylock in town? Like,
like, do we just post up at
or is he
Raleigh
going to break my heart and be like, and show up on UNC's social media?
Probably.
Be like, oh man,
with Bill Belichick.
When I was growing up, never mind, I named my band after Mookie Blaylock and the Sonics. It was the shorts. It was the only reason.
Much like, no.
Don't you dare, Eddie Vedder.
Much like Michael Jordan wore his old shorts underneath his shorts. That's why Eddie always wore tights under his shorts.
No, he's got a flannel under his flannel.
That's what it is.
And it says blue and white.
That's what it
Jordan
is.
flannel.
All right, well, look, man,
he's got an off day in Raleigh. That's all I'm saying.
It's in May, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're playing 2 nights. There's an in-between sandwich day.
All right, well,
free Mookie Blaylock rookie cards. How about that?
Wow. Do you want to put your radio bit brain back?
Yes.
You want to go to the Dimitri binder full of bits?
I got you. Eddie, I got you.
Put the Mookie Blaylock card around Raleigh landmarks and say, where is this Mookie Blaylock card? We'll
collect them all and come up to the Efert Studios
for a free Roback. Actually, that's a good idea.
Roback's probably got a flannel that we get in time by May. Seattle, make it green and yellow.
No. You make the flannel the OG flag colors, right?
Okay.
So you make it like the colored patterns.
Well, I mean, black is
right
his preferred color, I would think.
No.
Well, why? I think
today on OMG.
Sometimes we take sports so seriously that we forget that there are people who are in charge of teams, organizations that aren't so serious. So, for instance, we got Doug Gottlieb. I asked the question, who's down bad in a worse way? Carolina fans and their fan civil war? Or could it be Doug Gottlieb, who got sunned by Adam Schefter this week? So Schefter this was all related to Michael Vick, who's now a head coach.
Okay.
Shout out to David Teal for breaking that story. So Schefter had this tweet back on December 16th about discussions to hire Mike Vick, and Sacramento State plans to move up to FBS. They're building a new stadium. They have over $50 million in NIL. And Doug, I guess, took time from prepping for games and his radio show to tweet at Adam, Jesus, Shefty, edit what agents tell you. 0.0 chance Sac State has $50 million in NIL. And Adam Schefter pointing out that they are leading schools' NIL efforts, already announced it has reached its initial goal of $50 million in NIL funds to strengthen the school's case for invitations to the Pac-12 or the Mountain West. And Jesus, Doug, a 7-game losing streak and last place in the Horizon League, less time on social media, more time in the gym, with a screen grab of the current standings in the Horizon League. Combine this with the fact that Gottlieb had a press conference about how he wasn't pleased that they were playing a D2 school, like Michigan Tech or whatever it was called. They lost. 8-game losing streak. And he didn't show up for his radio show.
What?
Did not show up for his radio show.
Oh, come on.
Apparently the timing didn't work out, Joe. The timing didn't work out.
Come on.
However, Doug Gottlieb, not as embarrassing as Woody Johnson and the New York Jets. Did you see this story in The Athletic today?
Did not.
Whoo boy. So, according to The Athletic, this was written by Zach Rosenblatt, Michael Silver, and Diana Rossini. And I'm just going to read from The Athletic Pulse summation of this. The piece focuses on Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets, who has been hands-on, but I did not expect to learn that the influence of his teen sons, Brick and Jack, whose love for the Madden franchise seems to have influenced the owner of the team. Their reporting revealed that the Jets nixed a trade for Jerry Jeudy last offseason because the receiver's EA Sports rating was too low. It's not the only time the video game ratings factored into their personnel decisions. What? They had an anonymous source tell them, I am arguing my decisions and years of NFL industry expertise with teenagers who are reading stuff off of blogs.
Wait a second. Woody Johnson has teenage sons?
Apparently he has teenage kids.
What kind of super sperm does he have?
So, yeah.
77.
Dude, man. Get it going. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, let's see. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers, usually the lightning rod in the saga, comes off pretty harmless in the story. According to their reporting, the opinionated QB was urging patience whenever the owner wanted to make a hasty move earlier in the season, like firing Robert Saleh. Besides, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is all that plugged in right now. Anyway, he's too busy battling Ryan Clark through ESPN show.
Is he battling, or is he just getting it handed to him?
He's just getting it handed to him. I mean, dude, it's almost 2025 and we're still talking about vac statuses. Like, buddy, let's find some new material, man. Let's find some new material.
We've got a lot to get to. It's a lightning round.
When we asked if Kirk Cousins was cooked,
no, I remember when I said that they should bench Kirk Cousins, and I have no single clue what they're doing.
And that's exactly what they did. They benched him. Now it's time for the Michael Penix show. Big Penix energy down in Atlanta.
Ready for it. Let's see it.
A lot of people are making a big deal out of the amount of money that's being used, or the amount of money that was spent on Kirk Cousins.
90 mil. It's not your money. Why do you care?
A, it's not your money. B, it's the going rate. Speaking of not your money, that also gets us to another piece of quarterback news. Your guy, Diego Pavia.
Yes.
You've been on this dude for a while.
Fuck that system, buddy.
So Diego Pavia got a, where's my On3 story? Where did it go? I guess he was fighting over, what was he fighting over? He was fighting over
He was in junior
time?
he was in junior college, and he was arguing that that year shouldn't count towards his eligibility clock. So he went and sued the NCAA to get another year of eligibility, and voila. The courts ruled that the junior college years do not count towards your NCAA eligibility clock. So you could play up to 2 years of junior college and not have it count
towards your 5 to play 4 in the NCAA.
The NCAA statement reads, the NCAA is disappointed in today's ruling and wants all student athletes to maximize their name, image, and likeness potential without depriving future student athletes of opportunities. Altering the enforcement of rules overwhelmingly supported by NCAA member schools makes a shifting environment even more unsettled. The NCAA is making changes to deliver more benefits to student athletes, but a patchwork of state laws and court opinions make clear that partnering with Congress is essential to providing stability for the future of all college athletes. But here's the thing. The NCAA continues to not do the right thing, and every time they go to court, how does it play out?
They lose.
They always lose every single time, and yet they never learn their lesson. Big thanks to our friends at Hometown Realty. Check them out online at myhtr.com. You'll probably be heading to somebody's house over the holidays for a holiday party, a friend's house, a gathering, whatever it might be. You might get a little envious. They have an entire room dedicated to those Thai Beanie Babies, including the new one that's taking the nation by storm. The Beanie Babies are back, Joe. Beanie Babies are back.
Should I try to sell the goldfish one that I have?
I don't know if they're worth anything, but apparently there is a Beanie Baby gingerbread man with sad eyes that the internet has fallen in love with.
Sad eyes.
And now they're worth a lot of money.
Turn the other way.
You should watch the documentary about the guy, the Beanie Baby guy.
Yeah, this my Beanie Baby's $10.
Yeah, dude. The market crashed for that. But with Beanie Babies, now look, you might still believe in your Beanie Baby market. Get a room for it with our friends at My Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. Or maybe you need somebody, you want to like hand the Beanie Baby collection to your family members. You know, it's all part of your
$8 for the Beanie Bambino baby. Man, what?
I had
throw that shit away.
I had the bull, the Red Bull, I think at one point. And I also had like a little shark too.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the shark. But, you know, look, I say this all the time to my kids. Like, look, you know, when I die, you're going to get all these Beanie Babies. That's what's going to pay for your house.
For nothing.
It's not going to pay for anything. I'm kidding. But maybe you want to make sure that legally your children get all those worthless tchotchkes. That's when you contact our friends at Hometown, at Whitaker and Hamer.
Either way. No big deal.
Go to wh.lawyer and say, hey, can you write up a will that makes sure that all of these Boba Fett Lego variants go to my children? And they're going to be like, we got you. We got you. All right. So wh.lawyer. Big thanks to our friends at O2 Fitness. It's about that time. The holidays, we're right around Christmas. You're eating a heck of a lot. Shout out to Ken.
And Ashley
cheese
straws.
For bringing the cheese straws.
Yeah.
This is an extra 20 minutes on the ARC trainer right here, and you can get that done at O2 Fitness.
O2 Fitness, so much more than a gym.
How's your neck?
It's good. It's good. We're getting there.
Okay.
Working on it.
Okay.
Working my way back to you.
You can also work on that waistline by eating a lot better. You know where you get that done after you work out and you want to follow it up with like a lot of protein? You go to Happy and Hill. You just worked out a sweat. You're looking for a little pick-me-up. You get the Almond Brothers. That's money. You go to Happy and Hail for that.
Good.
Go to Happy and Hail, download the app today, and you too can start eating wonderful. It's healthy whole foods, but they do not skimp on flavor.
Take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
So again, download that app, and it makes it super convenient for you to get in and out on the go, especially while you're running around doing all that holiday shopping. All right, let's get out here on some Hey Joe. Shout out to Shelby. Who up podding on a Thursday? We are, Shelby.
It ain't easy, Shelby.
We are. From Brian, State should go all in on Phil Jackson. Really mess with UNC basketball and the UNC basketball or die contingent. Triangle offense. I mean, I like where your head's at. From Jeannie, slurp fest for Belichick. Yeah, that's a good point. From James, LT hasn't been mentioned at UNC in 2 decades. Sad, but that's UNC. I don't know about that. It's not like Lawrence Taylor hasn't been on the sideline within my life. I mean, He's
Butch bought him.
He brought him back, right?
Butch bought him back for the one Thursday night game, and he got arrested 24 hours later.
That's right.
And they literally had not mentioned him until Belichick.
But now you see, it's helping with recruiting.
Yeah.
Now it's
Is it?
helping. Maybe. I don't know. From Sam. Well, ESPN talk about the competition between Bill Belichick and Flag for women in Chapel Hill, Durham. From Kelly, change the name of the lightning round to pipeline round at the next live broadcast at Nature's Relief. Yes. From Timmy Ann, the Belichick ass kissing isn't kind of gross. It's really gross. From Matt in Carborough, over under how many times we see Belichick and he's not. He needs to network with the Utes in their environment. Do the young people still hang out at He's Not, or is that more of an old person bar these days? I love He's Not. Don't get me wrong. Shelby, if you're still listening, if you're still watching, please tell me, are the Utes hanging out at He's Not? Or is that something that people come back to do and hang out?
Boy, that would really hurt Brooke's feelings.
Well, Brooke is old.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But
Brooke,
she doesn't think of herself that way yet.
I know. She's
not there yet.
It's only been like 10 years since she's been in college.
It's hard, though.
I get it.
When that first time happens, when you're like, oh, no.
I get it. No, it's the Utes who are wrong.
All you got to do is hang out with Belichick and you'll feel young.
All right. Shelby says we're at He's Not for sure. Okay, good.
Okay,
good. Because that's an institution. Please make sure that He's Not is supported. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Big thanks to everybody who watched us live. Shout out to everybody who's listening on the podcast. 5 stars only, positive vibes only. That's your Christmas gift to us. Give us 5 stars. Leave a review. Leave a review. That's what we'd appreciate. And of course, things a little bit differently tomorrow. We'll have a Triangle 10 with Luke Takak of the News and Observer. And we are also scheduled to chat with the governor, Roy Cooper, his farewell.
So that's coming out tomorrow.
That's coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
Mailbag Monday. And then the Christmas Spectacular Year in Review
special
on Wednesday.
A very special OG.
And then we're done until January 2nd.
History.
Until January 2nd. My goal.
Oh, we're coming back
on the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to break news on the OG? You want to break news on the OG?
Oh, we're coming back. We got to come back. It's kind of like the time. I don't even remember what we did, but I felt like we had a good show.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, well, we're gonna fucking do it again tomorrow, Giglio.
Yeah. Congratulations. It's called Wednesday. It's called a Wednesday. Yeah. So my goal, honestly, tomorrow, my straight goal tomorrow is once my laptop is closed, I am not opening it back up until January 2nd. That's my goal.
Respectable.
Will it happen? Tough to say.
I mean, I'll be in Annapolis on the 28th. There might be some after dark potential.
It's called Law of the Wolf Show.
See what the Wi-Fi looks like.
You got to feed the OG Triangle Media beast.
Well, there won't be any Fireball in Annapolis then. It's like a championship belt.
It does kind of work as a championship belt. All right. We'll see y'all later.